So this video may actually bring you relief. Like if you're a caretaker, if you love being generous, if you tend to also give too much to others and maybe not enough to yourself at the end of the day, you may find a great relief realizing maybe this is why you are the way you are. And we're letting go of judgment. We're just observing and noticing with an open mind. So the first role is caretaker. So this role makes all the other roles possible. For the addict or the alcoholic, this person tries to keep everyone happy, tries to meet everyone's needs, and as a result ends up sacrificing their own needs. We also have the scapegoat. So the scapegoat is often the one that's blamed for the problems. The scapegoat is maybe the problem child or the symptomatic child. The child is really frustrated and maybe in therapy, but it's really a larger issue. We also have the lost child. This child is the out of the way child, the introvert, kind of the person that withdraws in order to keep the peace, and in a really, really careful effort, they're tiptoeing on eggshells, trying to avoid conflict at all costs. We also have the mascot. So this is the kind of the funny person, the humorous person in the household. However, their jokes can bring humor, but they can also be sometimes too much or over the top or inappropriate for the situation, and can even sometimes be insulting and regress the person who is in sobriety and kind of trigger them. The hero is the person who wants to make this whole family look perfect. So they're going to pretend that there's no problem with alcohol. No one has a problem with drugs. Everyone's okay. And in a way, this is a coping skill to survive. But all of these roles leave lingering feelings of fear, guilt, shame, and emptiness. Because keeping the peace and walking on eggshells isn't a wonderful life. It's not a life that you love, and it's a life based out of fear. So, you know, as a child, if you grew up with a parent who was an addict, you may have avoided bringing friends home. There may have been times of the day where you had to be absolutely extraordinarily silent to the point where you could hear a pin drop in order to avoid angering a parent that had an alcohol issue. So now we're gonna go over 3 family myths. So family myths are thoughts that people have based on growing up, but they actually are dysfunctional. So a couple of them are don't speak, don't rock the boat, and keep the peace. So this is really important because people think that if they keep the peace, there won't ever be conflict. There won't be another fight. But that's not true. So they're keeping the peace in this effort to try to control the situation, but it's really challenging because, you know, it's also, there's no good time to talk, and it's really important to talk. Either the addicted person is high or drunk, or they're having a good time and they're sober and no one wants to ruin that good time. But it's really important to talk about the issues you have. Don't trust is another myth. So oftentimes when someone has been using drugs or alcohol, they've broken the trust. They've betrayed a lot of family members. So they may have stolen from you. They may have taken money from your car, from your purse. They may have crashed your car. You really can't trust them. So it's part of a good thing to not trust them, but it's also really important to allow that person to rebuild your trust. All right, our last family myth is it's wrong to be angry or sad. It's not okay to cry. Stop crying. Stop overreacting. So this is a myth that sometimes you may have grown up with. You may have been told, hey, stop crying. Like, that's not okay. Like, you're not allowed to do that. Men don't do that. Boys don't do that. Stop crying. Like, these things may have been told by a parent who was an addict or an alcoholic because they couldn't deal with emotions. They were numbing their own self. And anyone who's an addict or an alcoholic really can't give in a relationship to anyone. They're in a relationship with their substance, and that's their priority. So now, as an adult, you're learning to feel your feelings, and that's a great thing. You're building a positive relationship with each of your feelings. So just know that sometimes, as a baby, you're gonna cry, and when you do cry and you have a healthy parent, that parent is gonna be there for you. They're gonna hold you, they're gonna hug you, they're gonna try to meet your needs, whether it's food, sleep, they're going to be present for you. However, typically, an addict or an alcoholic didn't get that nurturing, that very, very important early nurturing. So they weren't cared for when they cried, their needs weren't met. So they learned the world is not a trustworthy place. So they have trouble building relationships with significant others and with children. And so it's a hard thing. It's a really big thing. So it's okay to cry. This is where the myth gets broken. Society also tells men that they're weak if they cry, and society also tells women that they have to be the caretaker, reinforcing the unhealthy dysfunctional pattern. Because it's not just a woman, it's not just a man, it's not two women, it's not two men, it's everyone together making this family work and making it really be a thriving family. So remember that you're looking at your whole self, just like a flower. It's not growing in isolation. You're looking at the water, you're looking at the soil, the sunlight, the air quality, that environment to nurture that flower. So think about yourself like that flower and all those positive things going on in your life. And now in adulthood, check out your roles. Like, see what roles you're taking on. Are you still that caregiver? Are you still trying to be the hero? Because now, it's a relief. You can step outside of these roles. And remember that you are whole, perfect, and complete just the way you are. Doing this is hard work, right? This isn't easy, but it's well worth the effort. Be proud of your accomplishments so far. You totally rock. And it does take time to look inside. Growth is a long-term process. So understand your family of origin, the family you grew up in. Learn about your parents as much as you can, because that's going to impact you as a parent in this present moment. And it will influence who you are today. So again, this is Katie Ziskind. Learn more about positive coping skills online and access free literature at wisdomwithinct.com. I'm a family therapist in Niantic, Connecticut. I offer private yoga therapy sessions, yoga therapy for athletes, people recovering from trauma. I help adolescents who are going through a parent's divorce, teens who are self-harming, and young adults who are trying to figure out relationships and breakups. My name is Katie Ziskind. I'm a licensed family therapist, and I would love to fit you into my schedule. I just have a couple spots left. So my phone number is 860-451-9364. Have a great day.